Hello and welcome to the first of many videos we're going to be doing over here on YouTube. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be having a look at OBS Studio, downloading, installing. We're going to have a look at, is that still showing test as the title? No, it's not. Thank God for that. It's showing test for me here. So we're going to have a look at OBS Studio, how to download it, where to download it from. A couple of initial plugins that I suggest that we put in there. We're going to look at portable mode so that you're able to confine basically everything that you do in OBS. We're going to have a look at some basic settings and scenes, sources and transitions. We're going to have a look at all the basics. So this is like a basic to intermediate session. We are going to have a look at, in future videos, we're going to look at Streamer Bot, we're going to look at Stream Elements. If anybody wants it, we'll have a look at WiseBot, Lumia, we'll have a look at all kinds of things. We're going to have a look at Elgato as well, the Stream Deck, how to incorporate and connect it to Elgato lighting. And do like you see on my Twitch stream where you can see thunder, lightning, flashbangs, how to make it all do that using all the bots that you can add to the system. So who have we got in the chat at the minute? Who have we got? Have we still got Bap and Spandy in chat? So what we're gonna do is the more stuff that people ask me to do, I will do extra live streams. Feel free to ask questions. Ask as many questions as you need. I'm going to be going through this process with you. I'm using OBS now to record this live stream and broadcast it out over YouTube. But I will be installing another one and I'll be doing it in portable mode on a USB stick. So we'll show you how to do all that as well. And it's not too difficult. So first thing we're going to do, we are going to move over to the main screen and we'll get going. So first thing we need to do, we need to go to the browser source and we need to download OBS Studio. So OBS Studio here, when you say OBS Studio, Windows, Mac and Linux, it's available for. But if you select any of these, this is going to be the installation file. Now, if you're installing it straight on to, I just thought my stream had crashed out then. If you're installing it straight onto your C drive, they are all well and good to use. Just download them and use them. If like me, you want to use portable mode, select download, and then you get the Windows, the Mac, and the Linux variants. Now, as a quick reference, this is the installer. You can get it from a BitTorrent, download the zip. You can also get it from the Microsoft Store and Steam and the GitHub. And that goes for the majority of these, with the exception of Windows, where you can get from Windows Store. You can actually get this off Steam. Now, I would suggest not doing that because then you can't add plugins on as easily. So the way I'm going to do it, because I'm doing portable mode, I'm going to download the zip file. So once we've got the download, go to the downloads. It's downloaded here. We're going to unzip it. So I'll unzip there. And all I need to do then is just grab the one that's unzipped. I'm going to cut that. And this is my USB stick, completely fresh. I've just called it portable. And I'm going to paste it straight onto my USB stick. Just wait for this to do. I am going to suggest we download a couple more things before we really get into building OBS up. And I think these are necessary for anybody that's starting out using OBS. So once this is installed, we'll quickly go over what else we're going to add on top. Got about a minute and a half to do. So is there any questions, anything anybody wants to ask about OBS? Anything? Nothing from nobody. Nobody wants to ask anything off OBS. Just confirm you two guys are still there, Spandy and Bap, for me. Just confirm you're still there for me. Because I can't see whether you are or you aren't while this is still going. I want to follow this whole process. That's just increased to 6 minutes. I don't know why it's done that. That's a little bit ridiculous for transferring. I know what it'll be. It may be that I've got a slower USB stick. But we'll wait on it. We'll wait on it. Normally what you do is you'd put this on another drive. How to set up OBS for beginners. Thank you. This is what we're doing now, Spandy. Thanks for that, mate. Thanks for letting me know that you're still with me. Right, it's just dropped down to 4 minutes. I didn't think it'd take this long. Because I usually do this on my hard drive when I'm doing videos like this. But I just wanted to isolate it. But what I'm thinking of doing is maybe I think it should be better if I do it on a drive itself. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to stop using the USB stick. And we're going to pretend I'm using a USB stick. So I'm just going to go over to my H drive. I'm going to create a file. Just let me double check I've got enough space. Most definitely 599. So what I'm going to do is I am going to open my H drive. And I'm simply going to create a drive for OBS. So I'm just going to create the folder. When I can, new folder. So __ OBS Studio, __ that'll help it stay near at the top. So we'll open that up, and all I'm going to do is again go here, cut. In fact, let me move that. Let me cut that one and drop this one in here, and then unzip it in here. Hopefully, we'll get a better response. There we go, miles better. So I'm going to delete that. Don't need that anymore. So we're in OBS Studio. So as you can see here, we've got bin, data, and OBS plugins. What I want to do is I want to install 2 extra plugins before we get going. And these will help greatly in the long term. So the first one we're going to be installing is this one here. This is called Win Capture Audio version 2.2.3 beta. This is by Bozbez. I'll put the link in the chat, so we'll copy that. This is only for anybody that's using OBS Studio. So let me just paste that into chat. So there's the link for this. So I'm going to download this as well. So we want it in, again, we want it as the zip, not the executable. We're looking for the zip. So we need the zip. Again, that's downloading. And another one that we're going to do while we're here is scene notes. That's a little bit long. If you put OBS Studio scene notes into your search engine, you'll come across this one here. And I'll show you what these do shortly. So we've got the Linux version, Mac OS, Windows installer, and the Windows zip. This is the one we want, the zip. So we've got them two. Let us open our downloads folder. So now what we want to do, that's not downloads, that's actually gone back there. Let's go back to download. So yeah, so we've got Win Capture Audio. So we need to open this. So that one's open. Open the folder, and all we've got here is a data and an OBS plugins folder. So we're going to cut them. and go into your OBS. You got your data and your OBS plugins. All we're doing is paste it in and it will automatically overwrite. The next one we're going to do is the scene notes. We'll unzip that and go in again, grab the data and the OBS plugin, cut them and paste them in. They'll overwrite again and we'll see what they are straight away once we open up. So if you open your OBS now, you go into bin 64 and then just find your executable. So this is opening it as standard. This is not what I want at the minute, because what's happening now is it wants to open. Let me just close that off. I have got to, let me just clear a lot of this off. Right, I've got this OBS running, so I can't simply click that, because what it wants to do now is it wants to open a second instance of the same OBS. Let me just minimize that. So what I need to do is I need to create a shortcut. This is how we do portable mode. So we create a shortcut. So we're going to show more options and send to, and it would be send to desktop shortcut. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply create the shortcut, which will put it in here. I'm going to grab it. So I'm going to cut it and take it back one folder so that we're in the main instance down here and paste it in. This could be your desktop. It doesn't matter where you put this. Just put it somewhere where you know exactly where it is. We're going to rename it. So this is OBS Studio and call it portable. Then you know that this is a portable version. And what you want to do then is you want to go into properties, and on here where it's got target, select that box and move right to the end. Then you want to do 1 space, 2 hyphens, and then the word portable. And then apply and OK. Now, you know I'm using OBS because I'm actually streaming via OBS. So what we do now is we open this instance. It allows me to have a second copy. And it is brand new. It's a fresh copy, a fresh install. So let me just minimize this screen. So now we've got the setup wizard. We are going to go through the setup wizard as well, but we are going to make a lot of alterations down the road. So we're going to optimize for streaming. Recording is secondary. Other options you've got is optimize for recording. I will not be streaming and I will only be using virtual camera. Let me just get rid of that. So we're going to optimize for streaming. Recording is secondary. Then we've got the canvas size. Now, this is where a lot of people have confusion with the canvas size. My monitor size is 2560x1440. But I'm going to be streaming in 1080p. So you need to set this, ideally at the base canvas, should be the size of the monitor that you are using, but it doesn't have to be. Set this to the size of the stream that you want to broadcast out. If you want to broadcast out at 720, set this to 720. If you want to broadcast at 1080, set it to 1080. So you do have a couple of options here, but we are going to look even further later on. So you, again, you have your screen options. So that's 2560x1440, which 2 of my monitors are, and 1920x1080 for my third monitor, or you can manually select them. For now, just choose either one of these 2 because we are going to change it later. So I'm going to go for 1920x1080. FPS, now this is if you want to do 60 or 30 frames per second. So you can do either 60-30, prefer 30 where possible, 60-30 but prefer higher. Use current 30. I force 60. I always force this at 60. I've got the bandwidth to do this. And again, that's something that we're going to have a look at with you in a little while when we come to the settings, so that you can get the optimum stream quality. So we'll have a look at bandwidth shortly. So under it, as a note, the canvas-based resolution is not necessarily the same as the resolution you will stream or record with. Your actual stream recording resolution may be scaled down from the canvas resolution to reduce resource usage or bitrate requirements. So it's just a little bit of information, because if you have a monitor bigger than you are going to stream, you will have to encode the quality you have to scale it down. So what we'll do is we'll just move on. So this is if you want to connect to Twitch, connect recommended, or use stream key. So if you don't want to connect to Twitch, if you're streaming to YouTube, you connect to YouTube RTMPS, Facebook Live. I'm actually streaming through Restream, so I could connect through Restream because I switch between different platforms that I stream on. But you can stream on many. I'm going to leave it as custom. But all that you do next is log in with your credentials. That is the next stage. And then it would connect you. So I'm going to just click cancel for now, because I'm not connecting this to anything at the minute. So let me increase the size on it. So the layout we've got now, we've got the preview window. We've got where our scenes are, sources, audio mixer, scene transition, and your controls. All these you can move around. You can stack them. So you can stack them all up as well, which tabs them. The only one that you can't physically move is the preview window. What you can do is move tabs to the side of the preview window, which allows you to rescale it that way. That is the only way to move and change the size of the preview window, by having another tab there. So what we're going to do, I've got scenes, I've got sources, we've got the audio mixer. Now the audio mixer, you'll find that you're having a lot of audio coming through when you're live streaming. And you can only see the first 3 rows. So one of the first things you should do is select the 3 dots and change it to vertical layout. With vertical layout, you can see a lot more. And if you need to see more, you just stretch it out. So I suggest changing that to vertical layout if you like seeing the meters moving around. Scene transition we'll go into shortly. So the 2 things that we added, the first one is the first dot is scene notes. So scene notes is exactly as it says. It is just a way of taking notes. So if we're here now, we're on this particular scene. Let me just create another dummy scene, for instance. So we're on scene 1. I want to add some notes here. Add scenes and sources. Add scenes and sources. Helps if you spell it right. Add scenes and sources. So that's on this scene. So this is a set of notes for this particular scene. If I change scenes, the scene note changes, because you could have a completely different set of notes for what you want to talk about on this scene. So this is ideal for anybody that's just getting into streaming, and you can set yourself some prompts up here for the different scenes. You got your gaming screen, you've got your chatting screen. You can have different variations of your chatting screen, which we're going to go into. Again, there's a few different options you can use depending on what overlay package you've got. But you're not just tied to it being small. If you can't see that for whatever reason, you do have options to change it. So you've got font here. You can change the font like you would on anything else. You can change the font. You can change the size. You've got strike through. You've got a load of fonts. I think it's every font that you've got installed on your PC. Regular, bold. That will change it. You can change the color. You can change the text color. You can change the background. You can use this like any type of text document. So this is ideal for anybody that is just starting out streaming, so that you can get some prompts in there. And it does scroll. It's not just fixed to that one page. You can write as much as you want and you can scroll through. And again, when you change scenes, it all changes again. So let me just get rid of this scene 2. So, oh, there we go. So we'll delete that. The other one we'll come to shortly when we get into looking at scenes and sources, the other add-on that we did. So we want to go now to settings. On the first page of settings, in general, you've got the language that you speak or the language you want to see everything in. So English, I'm in the UK, so that's UK. Then you've got your choice of colours. So you're not just stuck with one. I'm not going to stick light mode on because that'll just blind you. But you have got a lot of options. I just like leaving it on Yammer. Open stats dialog box, that can stay unticked. Hide OBS window from screen capture. This here, all it is, do you know when you see someone streaming and they're looking at OBS and you're just getting that repetitive window in this black area here, that stops that. That actually stops it. But it doesn't suit my purpose, because if I click that, you can't see this version of OBS that I'm actually broadcasting to you. Channel stable latest, automatically check for updates. Output, show confirmation dialog when starting screens. So if you want to know, just so that you don't accidentally go live, this will show a confirmation to make sure that you do want to go live. Most streamers you'll find don't use this, you know, but all it'll say is, you know, like you'll click go live and it'll just say, are you sure? And then you just got to click a button again, just so that you, and it's basically, it only comes into effect when you're using a stream deck, because you can actually accidentally knock the button. I've done that. We've all done it. We've all done it. Show confirmation dialog when stopping, same. Show confirmation dialog when stopping recording, and automatically record when streaming. So we don't want to do any of that just yet, but you may want to. You may automatically want to record while you're streaming. Bear in mind, this is going to tax your PC, because not only are you using your encoder to downscale your image, if you're downscaling your image, you're going to have to use it to do recordings as well. What I suggest you do, so most platforms now, they record the VODs themselves. Just do your stream and download your VOD later. Don't record at the same time as streaming, unless you've got a really high-end PC. Keep recording when stream stops. So that'll only become active when you check that one. Each one of these will only come out. Automatically start replay buffer when streaming. If you want a replay buffer, you can. But again, this is going to tax your PC, because what it's going to do is it's going to record the last sections, depending on how long you put. If you put 30 seconds, it's going to constantly record and loop the last 30 seconds that you've live broadcast. So as your time moves on, its shift time will also move. So it's constantly overwriting itself. So that will be taxing on your PC as well. Keep replay buffer active when stream stops. Again, that's just for your replay buffer. Snapping. Now, I do suggest you enable snapping. Snap to 10 is good enough. Snap sources to the edge of the screen. Yes. Snap sources to other sources. Yes. This makes it really, really easy to line your overlays up and get everything set perfect. Snap sources to horizontal and vertical center. I don't do this because sometimes you want things slightly off skew. It gives you, if you don't have this checked, you have more options and positions of where you can actually put your overlay pieces, your images, or anything else you are bringing in to your stream. Projectors, we're not using projectors, so we can leave them. System tray, this is all about just taking your OBS down into your system tray. If you're like me and you want your chat up on here as well, you will want this open. You won't want it in your system tray. Preview, hide overflow. What this means in overflow, say you've got an image that you're bringing onto the screen, but you only want the left portion of the image on, you can either crop it, or if you've got it towards the edge of the screen, it can actually overshoot the screen, but your stream will only show what is in this black area. Again, when we do scenes and sources, you'll see exactly what I mean. But I never hide overflow. You want to see exactly where it is, especially if you want to grab a corner and bring it into the shot. Overflow always visible, show overflow. So these we don't need for the preview. We can leave these as standard. Importers we can leave studio mode. Transition to scene when double clicked. This is preference again for studio mode. You only really use studio mode when you're doing maintenance on the system while you are live and you are fixing an issue on the fly whilst you are live streaming. And again, for a later video, we will go through maintenance on OBS as well. Multi-view, I've never really used multi-view, but what this does is picture in picture, and you can have picture in picture in picture in picture. I think you can have, say, top 8 scenes, horizontal 8 scenes, 24 scenes. You've got to have a big spare monitor to actually capture all these extra scenes. And again, they will take resources. Stream, we went through this before, so this is just where you choose whether you're Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Restream, Twitter. If you're streaming on anything different, just click on show all. There are an abundance of places where you can stream. There are loads. You can use a stream key, or you can just use the login. Output. So for output, if you're just starting out, you can use simple. For streaming, now this is all going to be based now on your internet speed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my browser and I'll bring up a speed test. This is a pretty standard speed test, so let me just accept that and go. So all we're looking for is we're looking for the upload speed. If you're from the US or any other country and you see my upload speed quite low, don't laugh. It's not in the hundreds. It's pretty standard here for the UK. But you've also got to bear in mind that I'm streaming. So some of my upload speed this is going to be altered because I'm already live streaming. So we've got 22. All you need to stream for basic streaming is 3. If you're going to stream on like Twitch, this is megabits per second. Remember that. When you stream on Twitch, you stream at their max. They state their max is 6,000 kilobits per second. More than enough. More than enough. With YouTube, I think it's 9,000 if you're streaming at 1080, and then you can take it up to 12,000 if you're streaming in 4K. I wouldn't stream in 4K because I'd be kind of pushing it a little bit. So 6,000 for me it's perfect, really. I can stream on Twitch, on Kick, on YouTube. I can stream anywhere at 1080. And I could actually push it up to 9,000 if I wanted to without any issues. So what we'd do here, this is where we'd put that figure in. So if we want to stream at 6,000, and bear in mind, if you've got slower internet, you need to bring this down. You need to bring the size of your streaming down as well. 6,000 on Twitch is for 1920, 1080. If you want to, that's an 60 FPS, by the way, 60 FPS. If you want to stream at 1920, 1080 and do 30 FPS, you can bring that down to 5,000. And again, if you want to do 720p at 60 FPS, do 5,000, and 720 30 FPS, you can bring that down to 4,500. So you have got a couple of options. There is also an in-between as well, which a lot of people don't talk about. I'm going to go through that. When we get to the video section, I'm going to go through that with you. So for now, I'm going to go 6,000 kilobits a second. This is Twitch's stated limit. Audio bitrate 320, again, is Twitch's stated limit. This is to get the best audio. And bearing in mind, this is only on simple. We are going to go through the advanced in a second as well. Video encoder. Now, if you only want to have a CPU, you got a built-in GPU. If you're on a laptop or you're on a PC that has built-in GPU, you will no doubt be using X264, the CPU. If you've got an AMD or an NVIDIA, you choose the relevant one for your graphics card, and that will move the encoder from your CPU to your GPU. Encoder presets. Now, these still baffle me. But what you want to do is, for most systems, you can actually go on P7, but it's the slowest encoding process, but with the best quality output. Performance-wise, there is not much difference between P5, P6, and P7. It is marginal. So we could actually drop that to P6. So it's a little bit faster. We're still getting good quality. I always run mine at P6, and the quality is still pretty good. Audio encoder, we're going to leave it AAC. Recording path. That's states the obvious where that one goes. That is just where you want your recordings going. Same as stream. Never keep these the same as your stream, because if your stream quality changes, your recording quality also changes. So what you want to do is high quality, medium file size, indistinguishable quality, large file size, and lossless, tremendous, large file size. This all depends on how much space you have left on your hard drive. So for me on simple, I'm just going to leave it as high quality, medium file size. Recording format. Now, everybody will tell you to stick this onto MP4. As a beginner, you are going to run into some kind of issues with lag and everything else that goes on with your stream, and you're not going to know how to fix them on the fly. Maybe it's your OBS freezes while you are live. This is just one instance. Maybe OBS freezes while you are live. If you are recording while you are live, or say you're not streaming and you're making videos for YouTube, if you have this set to MP4 and your OBS crashes, you have lost that video. That video is gone. It will be corrupt. I suggest you use MKV. MKV is lossless. If your OBS crashes, it'll record up to that point and save the file for you. Then you only have to do the rest of the video that you need to do, and you can merge them with quality video editing software to fuse them back together again. And if you are using MKV, what you then do is go to advanced and check this box here. Automatically remux to MP4. Now, what this does is you're recording your video, you're recording it as MKV. If it crashes, if OBS crashes, you will not lose your video. And what's left, what video it has recorded, it will automatically remux, convert that to MP4 for you. Whereas if you originally recorded it in MP4, it's gone. It's corrupt. This is the way to keep your recordings, and it will automatically convert it to MP4 for you. If you have no problems at all with your OBS, again, not a problem. You start recording, it'll record in MKV. Once you've ended your video, you press stop recording, it will automatically convert to MP4. You'll have two recordings. You'll still have your MKV, but you will have an MP4 as well. So that is why I always suggest leave it on MKV. Again, video encoder is your NVENC. Then you've got your audio again. Make sure your audio track's at 1. Everything else we can leave standard. If you want to go to the advanced, this breaks everything down further into further sections. So going from the top, audio tracks, track 1. Twitch VOD track. This one, I get asked over and over. I get asked this question in 2 ways. What is Twitch VOD track? And how do you play non-copyright free music on your stream without getting a strike? Now, obviously, if you're streaming on Twitch and Twitch come into your stream, which they do occasionally, they can give you a strike if they hear copyrighted music. I'm going to tell you now how to do this. I shouldn't be doing this, but it's why it was put. It's one of the reasons why it was put there. What you can do is you can choose a track that goes to your VOD. So audio track 1 automatically broadcasts to your stream. So anything on track 1 in audio, broadcast out, live stream. Now we've got Twitch VOD track 2. Anything on track 2 now goes to your VOD. So what you do now is, if you've got Spotify playing in the background or any type of music, make sure it is not selected for track 2 to go to your VOD. All you need to do is put it on 1 to your stream, take it off 2. And you can set this to any one of these that you want. It's just easier. Stream 1, VOD 2. So when we come down to audio splitting later, we know which is which. So it's live stream for 1, VOD for 2. Audio encoder, again, FF, MPEG, AAC. Video encoder, I'm going to change this to my graphics card. Rescale output, don't use this rescale output. This is for CPU encoding. So we don't want to be doing that. Rate control, CBR, constant bitrate. Bitrate is the same as on simple, so we're going 6000 again. Keyframe interval, 0 is auto. If you're streaming on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, they all state 2. Preset, again, same as before. I'm going to select P6. All about speed and quality. Tuning, high quality. We'll leave that as high quality. Multipass mode. So what is multipass mode? Multipass mode, if you have this on single pass, it basically guesses, it's looking for where the video or the stream may glitch out a little bit, and it will guess on single pass. It's a total guess for keeping it as smooth as possible. 2-pass quarter resolution, it doesn't mean you are getting a quarter resolution on your stream. What it means is the first pass is run at quarter resolution so that it can skim through it. It can look for imperfections, and on the second pass, put out the quality. And then you've got 2-pass full, which again is very, very slow. It does the same as the quarter resolution. It can fine tune it. It can tweak it that little bit better. 2-pass quarter resolution is all you need. And we're just going to keep this as main. Because I'm using my NVIDIA card, all we need is main. Look ahead, turn off. Psycho visual timing, leave that on. GPU, GPU stays at 0, and max B frames, that's at 2. So we'll move on to recording. Let me just save that in. So we'll apply that in. Recordings, we'll keep this as standard. The location where you're recording, again, we'll leave it as MKV. Video encoder, same as stream. No. We want to put that at this one, depending on where you're streaming to. So if you are streaming to YouTube, you can actually record in AV1, the best quality you can get for putting videos out to YouTube. HEVC is the next best one, and H.264 is the last one as well. I am going to use H.264 for now. Again, X264 is your CPU. We're going to use the graphics card. This one is what's pretty standard across the board. So wherever you do videos, H.264 is standard. These are improved quality. So H.264, and then audio tracks. I'm only going to put down for audio track 1. Rescale again. No, we're not rescaling. I still leave this at CBR. Now, people do say and recommend using CQP and VBR. I still leave it at CBR. Anything for recording videos, you can take this anything from say 20,000 to 40,000 for decent quality videos. So I'm going to put this at 20,000. Keyframe interval, again, that's 2. I'm going to put that at P6. We only need, that's high quality, 2 past quarter. We can put this on main, 0 and 2 again for recording. So we'll apply that in. Audio. Knowing where we're throwing our audio now from what I said before, track 1 is to your stream. 320 for most streaming channels. Track 2 is your VOD. So you want the best audio quality on your VOD. So 320 again. Tracks 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are only if you're recording videos where you actually need to use 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can preempt this and set them all to 320. But the only 2 tracks you need for live streaming are 1 and 2. That's all we're using at the minute. But I'm going to set them up anyway. And this is your replay buffer as well. If you want your replay buffer on, it's set standard to 20 seconds. You can increase that. But bear in mind, 716 megabytes of memory in a constant loop of write and rewrite, delete, and everything which your system needs to do. So I don't use my replay buffer. It's not very often that I use it. But if you're playing a fast-paced game, and say you use it, say you're playing COD, and you want your replay buffer on because you want your viewers to see the excellent shot you've just done, then you would use your replay buffer for that, because that would wind back time and replay it for you. So that is output sorted. Audio. This has to be the same as your system. My system's set at 48. If your system's set at 48, leave it at 48. If your system is set up at 44.1, make sure this is 44.1. And you can check that by going into Windows, Systems, and it should tell you in there what your audio is set at. More often than not, if you're using Windows 10, Windows 11, it's set to 48. We set the channels to stereo. Now, these here, global audio devices. People put their microphones and desktop audio through here. I suggest you don't. I would turn off all of these, disable everything. So you got your desktop audio. You're going to be pulling your game through from your game audio anyway. We don't want to be pulling that through your desktop. And the reason why we don't want to do that, most people when they're gaming will also be playing with friends and chatting through platforms like Discord. With Discord, if people have send you messages on other channels that you follow as well, other servers that you're in, you constantly hear that ping pop, you know, as you get another message coming through. Every time a message comes through or someone comes in and out, you get that ping and pop. That will transpire straight through into your stream if you do through desktop. So I suggest you turn that off. We're going to go more into detail with this when we do scenes and sources in a little while, and I'll explain why. But that is the main reason. So you cut out all other PC and system noises that you have. So you get there's two, desktop 1, desktop 2, mic, auxiliary and audio. Now you might be asking, why do I turn this off? Because we need a mic. Yes, we do. But we're going to dedicate a channel to the mic. We're getting very close to doing that, so we'll get through that very, very soon. But we want to disable it from here because we don't want standard mic. You may have a headset mic and a desk mic. You may have a webcam mic. You may want to interchange them all for different effects. You can't do that with this because you can't turn one off without the others being on. This will just completely turn them all off through the back end and we'll bring them all on individually in the front end. Decay rate's fast. Peak meter type is sample peak. Monitoring device. Now what we want to do is make sure this monitoring device is set to your headset. Now I change every now and again. I'll use this wired headset. Sometimes I'll use the Bluetooth headset. This will change each time you're monitoring output. This is so that you can hear the noises that are going through your stream. So you would choose whether you're using dubbing virtual device, speaker, Realtek, or any other device. This is only for monitoring purposes so that you can hear what's going on. Hotkeys, again, we'll do them on a later video. But hotkeys are self-explanatory. You deal with them on multiple platforms. Video. So this is where the base canvas is where I said earlier on, size of your screen. But it doesn't have to be because my monitor is 2560-1440. If I had this at 2560-1440 and I wanted to stream at 1920-1080, I would have to use a downscale filter. And all these downscale filters, again, bicubic or Langsos, it doesn't matter which one you use. They're all pretty similar. You know, it's up to what your PC can handle and the quality that you expect from your stream. But if you were downscaling, I'd use Langsos, and then you choose your FPS as well. This can be changed. Integer, fractional. We leave this at common. Change this to 60 because we'll be streaming at 60. If you're doing video recordings, you probably bring this down to 24 for NTSC, 25 PAL. We're going to put it at 60 for gaming. Now, so because I've said my monitor is at 2560-1440, I am still going to bring this down to 1920-1080. And I'm going to broadcast out at 1920-1080. That way, I'm not using any downscale filter. There's no extra strain on the PC. But you could actually bring this down to 720 for those that wanted to stream at 720, 60, or 30. Again, this is all dictated by your upload speed for your internet. But when you look at streams that stream at 720, you may not like the quality that's coming across at 720. But your system might not be able to handle broadcasting out at 1920-1080. What you can do is have an in-between. So what I mean by that is you've got here different options. You've got 1440, 1080, 720. You can actually overtype and try this size. 1600 by 900. Do exactly the same in here. 1600 by 900. And what this size is, this is still a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. It is the best of both worlds. It is a lower performance hit on your system for streaming at, because you're not doing it at 1080, but it's an improved quality over 720. There are a few big streamers that actually stream using this particular size. It is a good in-between size if you don't like the low quality of 720, but you haven't got the internet speed of 1080. Now, what you could set this at, if you was going in to set this for your kilobits, instead of doing 6,000, you could actually drop it down to 5. But if you can still leave it up there at 6, you're going to get the best quality you can, but it's not going to be as taxing on your PC. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to 1080. So the way you write that is you put 1600 x 900. All you do is click on it. So you've got your drop down. Don't click on the drop down. Actually click on the box and then just physically type it in. And you can do that on both. But I'm just going to drop that back to 1920 1080. I'm getting no downscale filter. I'm leaving it at 60 FPS. So I'm going to accept that in. If, say, for instance, you wanted to do TikTok videos and you wanted to use YouTube, you wanted to use OBS to do TikTok videos, which are portrait. There is a plugin you can get that actually does this for you, but you can also do that here. Again, all you would do is 1080 x 1920, and that changes it to 916, and that gives you the vertical. And you do obviously do it for the output as well. So then you do 1080 x 1920, and then you've got your vertical for doing your TikTok videos, and that's 916 aspect ratio. We'll switch this back to 16:9. So we're on the horizontal. We're on the landscape. So we're on the landscape. Portrait is that way. Portrait is what you use for TikTok. All you do is switch the numbers around, just physically overtype it. Hotkeys, you know what hotkeys are. Accessibility, that's just your color sources. That is your choice. That's preferential to you. On here, there's nothing really to change on here, but make sure that you have ticked automatically remux to MP4 if you have chosen MKV as your recording. Everything else is perfect. And all we do then is, yeah, okay. And that's pretty much your settings done. If you want multiple settings, say you stream on Kick, YouTube, Twitch, and any other platform, Instagram, you can actually set up different profiles from here. So all you would do is create a new profile and then just go through them settings again, and then just give it a name. Just call it Twitch profile, Kick profile, YouTube profile. Or you can duplicate them and just tweak them slightly. Scene collections we'll get into shortly. So what we're going to do now is we are going to have a look at scenes and sources. So the way I do scenes and sources is called nested sources, or nested scenes, I should say. I build everything up as an individual component. So what do I mean by that? So on here, I'm going to add a new scene, and I'm going to call this scene live. This is for when I am live streaming. Dash, dash, dash. And I'll just call this one starting. I can barely see my own screen. I can call this one starting. Now I can get rid of that top one because there always has to be one there. So I'll get rid of the top one. Now the next one I'm going to do, live gaming. And then we're going to have a live BRB. And we'll have a live, we can do it this way as well, add there. And then we'll have a live chatting. And we can have a live ending. So that's all the live screens that we're going to do. We haven't put any sources in yet. We'll deal with that in a little while. What I suggest we do is build up our scenes for what we know we are going to need. So what I do now is, now I've got all my live section done, just create a line of dashes, which breaks it off from the next section that we're going to do. Let me just increase the size on this. Just take that right up there. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to look at our features that we're going to be bringing in. So I'll call this input. So on our input, we're going to have a webcam. We're also going to have a mic. My particular mic is the HyperX. So I'll just call it HyperX. This is where I say that we're going to bring things in like the mic and things like that now. So HyperX mic. What else are we going to bring in? We're not going to bring in anything else at the minute, but what we're going to do now is we can add another row, stack of dashes, just to break it up because we can always add more later. We're going to bring in now overlays. So for overlays, we are going to have a starting screen. So it's overlay starting this time. We're not going to have an overlay for gaming, but we're going to have an overlay for BRB. And we'll have an overlay for chatting. And we'll have an overlay for ending. So you might be asking, why am I doing all this? Why can't we just put everything in the starting screen? So if we've got a starting screen and we've got an overlay that's going in there, we may have a timer that's going in there. We may have videos and other animations that are going on within the starting screen. BRB, we might still have videos for doing automatic shout outs for people coming into the stream. And chatting, there's different areas that you can put on a chatting screen. You can have it as a full screen chatting screen. You can have it incorporate the chat and a little video of the game that you're currently playing, if you're playing a game, as well as bringing in your mic into all these as well, and your webcam. Why don't we just build them all straight into these? Simply put, this way of building it through nesting allows you to fix areas within your stream that you may be having issues with. So for instance, if you had an issue with your microphone and you had to change your microphone for whatever reason because it broke, you got an upgrade, maybe just simply add an upgrade, you would have to change your mic settings in your live stream, in your live starting, in your live gaming, in your BRB, if you use it in your BRB, in your chatting and your ending. You would have to change it in all of them. This way of doing it, because I've got input HyperX mic, It doesn't have to be called HyperX mic. You can call it anything that you want to. You can even just call it mic. What we then do is we go into gaming, add. We've got all these options for bringing in, but what we do have is we have scene. We can bring a scene in. These are our scenes. So we can bring a scene in. If we bring a scene in, and all we want to do here is look for our mic. So input, and it was the top one. We input our mic. It doesn't matter how big it is because you don't physically see your mic because it is audio. It is pure audio. And I know we haven't connected the mic yet. Well, this is just for pure building purposes. We'd have our mic there. We would also have on the scene, we would have our webcam. So we can bring our webcam in shortly. Our webcam potentially will only be in this corner on the gaming screen. So we can just vaguely throw it into that area. What else have we got? And we've got the overlay as well. So we've got, well, there's no overlay for gaming. There's no overlay for gaming. So we're all good here. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go to input and I'm going to bring in my mic. In fact, let's do it on chatting as well. Just quickly throw it in there as well. So input mic, lock that in, and on ending screen, you may have it in there as well. If we bring the scene in and we'll bring the mic in, we'll lock that in. So now I've got mic in gaming screen. I've got it in the chatting screen. I've got it in the ending screen. I go to the mic here and I'll input my mic. So this is an audio capture, input audio capture. We call it whatever our mic is called. So I'll just call it HyperX. Click on OK. Now, what we want to do is just select the microphone. So it's the HyperX Quadcast S. We've selected the microphone and you can see the microphone's working because the bar is going up and down to show that there's audio going in and out. Now, if I go to the gaming screen, it is already in there. If I go to the BRB, I didn't put it in that one. If I go to the chatting screen, the mic is already in there. If I go to the ending, again, the mic is already in there. I didn't put it in the starting screen. Didn't put it in the BRB, but it's automatically working. Now, if we had an issue with the mic and we had to change it, I would simply go to this mic setting here and change the mic, and it would change everywhere where I installed it. The same goes with a webcam. If you change your webcam, so what I'm going to do is I've got my webcam on my gaming. That's already there. I'd have my webcam on my chatting, so I'll just add that one for now. We're going to put overlays in shortly. So we go to webcam, we install the webcam. The webcam will generally be in around that area. We'll be able to position them more when we get the overlays in. So we've got the webcam in on the chatting and on the gaming. So if I go to webcam and I'll bring the webcam in, I have got two webcams. That's how come I'm able to stream with one and I'm just use the other one. So we want a video capture device. So this is for bringing in your webcams. So this one is the C920. That is the C922. It's not the Brio. The Brio is the one I'm using now. So it's the C922 Pro. All the settings, if we go in here, we go custom resolution. I want to bring this in at 1920 1080 because that's what I've brought everything else in as. This camera will only broadcast in 30, so I'll lock it in at 30. Video format, color range, I leave everything as standard. And then click on OK. Now you can see it's pushed it into the corner. We can't see it because it's pushed it into the corner. So what you can do is you can right click and you can go on to transform and you can fit to screen. And it's not working. Just give me 1 second. Let me make sure it's turned off in my recording one because it should have been. Actually, it should have should have been turned off. It is turned off. So that should be working, but it is not. Let me deactivate and reactivate. Why is it not working? Double checking on my other one. So 922, that is definitely off. Strange. Let me in fact, hang on. Let me go over here. Now I should be able to. There we go. I'm over here as well now. I had to deactivate it on the other one. It was still active. So we've got it over here as well now. So this is bringing the webcam in just on this input. But if we have a look at the nested section, it's brought it in. And on the chatting section, again, that's brought it in there as well. If we have an issue with the webcam, we want to update the webcam, we're upgrading, anything to do with the webcam, if we change it here, it will fix everywhere else. If we upgraded our webcam and we hadn't nested it this way, what you would have to do is you would have to go into gaming and build it back into video capture. I know it's not difficult to do. You know, you go into video capture, but say you had to go through all these settings and say you had a particular setup when you had to go through all these settings. You've got your configurations that you have to go through as well. All these are set, you know, because you've got your pan and tilt. You've got all these that, you know, that you can set as well. Imagine having to do that for your gaming screen, your chatting screen, your BRB, whatever else, whatever other screen you applied it to as well. And you had to change it in all of them. It would become a pain. This way, do it once, fix everywhere. Overlays. So I have got a pack of overlays, and this pack of overlays was actually donated to me to do these videos by Tibetan Son, who streams over on Twitch, streams Warframe. Go and check him out. Twitch.tv/Tibetan Son. Go and drop him a follow. Amazing streamer. Amazing streamer. Someone that I helped set out, and he uses this formula that I use for building OBS. He uses this in his OBS. It's easier when he has an issue. He can contact me and I can walk him through, no problem, and get the issues sorted out, because it's so easy to walk around. More often than not now, he just fixes it all himself. But again, that's beyond the scope of here. Just twitch.tv/Tibetan Son. Drop him a follow. He's actually donated these overlays so that we can do these videos. So when you buy an overlay pack, you are going to get all kinds of stuff in there. These are from, I'm not sure, you can go to Own, you can go to Nerd or Die, Etsy. There are a number of places that you can buy your overlays from. You go wherever you need to go. First thing you should do when you get an overlay pack, go into your fonts, make sure you've installed your fonts. And then in here, we've got icons. We've got social media icons that are specific to this overlay. What we're concerned with are these scenes here. So we've got a BRB screen. We've got the ending. We've got the offline. And we've got a starting. So what we want to do is, if I grab these, so I'm going to copy these. Because I'm on portable, what I want to do is, I want to copy them. I don't want to cut them because I don't want to remove them from their original destination. So I'm just going to copy the scenes, and I'm going to go back to my portable version of OBS. And you will notice from earlier on in the video that we only had a bin, a data, and an OBS plugin. Because I created that shortcut and added -- portable to the end, it brought all our configuration files over into the same file system. So they're all in the same folder structure. So all I want to do here is paste all my scenes in within this OBS structure. Then we know where they all are. If I go to starting, on here, we'll go through each of these. Application audio capture beta. This captures the audio from any application that is open. It's in beta, and to me, I don't rate it that much. But if I were to set it up, you'd give it a name as you would with anything else. It looks for a specific window, and then it will match it to that. I don't rate it that much. The other plugin that we added in, by the way, is actually where we'll find it. This is application audio output capture. Again, you call it your naming convention, whatever you call it. But now we bring it in as a session. Again, it still does the same, but it does a miles better job, in my opinion, of finding the audio and broadcasting it as it should be broadcast out. This was that win odd capture. This was that first plugin that we put in. That is what this one is here. And I use this for all the games that I bring into OBS. I use this to bring the audio in rather than using desktop audio. Again, we want to get rid of that. We're not using that at the minute. The next one for mic, audio output capture. So that just captures everything that's going through your headphones, your loudspeakers. We've got browser, so you can bring browser sources in. Color source, all that is a color source. It just creates another background. It's so that, for instance, if I chose this background and say I went white, I just called it white, just giving it a name white, we can now choose the color that we want it to be. And basically it gives us a working area of where we're going to put stuff that we haven't put into OBS yet. So say like we hadn't got a webcam yet, but we wanted to set our webcam up ready for when we did. You'd give this any color background and you'd put that where you want it to be in any of your scenes. So basically you just use it as a holding marker, we'll call it. We'll take that one out. We've got display capture. I never use display capture as much as never use display capture in the same instance that you use game capture or window capture. Don't interchange the two into the same scene. This is why it's better to build all your sources out and build everything into a source, because then you can bring them in, because you are not physically merging and mixing a display capture with a game capture and a Windows capture in your sources for, say, your gaming screen. You are bringing them in as a scene rather than its individual component part. Image. So image is for anything that is static. Slideshow, you can create slideshows on here as well. Media source, this is for anything that has any form of animation on it. If it's a moving image or a video, it has to go through media source. So GIFs, animated GIFs will go through media source, not image. Scene, we've already shown you what scene is. Text GDI is to bring text onto the screen. Video capture is exactly that. It just captures your video source, mainly used for your webcams, and then you got your window capture, and then we can group as well. Depreciated, we're not going to go into because it's depreciated. So the overlay pack that I've got is animated. So we'll go to media source and we're on the starting screen. So simpler, just call it starting. It's a local file. You can do these through Stream Elements as well, and I'll be doing that in another video. We'll go through Stream Elements and show you how to import them from Stream Elements. We're going to go to, where did I put it? I put it in H Drive and I put it in OBS Studio and Scenes. So we're on the starting screen. So this is the video for the starting screen. Do we want it to loop? Yes, we do. This has to loop. Restart playback when source becomes active. We want that checked as well, so it starts back from the beginning when it becomes active. Use hardware decoding where available. Always check this, especially if you've got an NVIDIA or an AMD graphics card. It will use them instead. Show nothing when playback ends. Close file when inactive. Apply alpha in linear space. So this is good to go, but we can close the file when it's not active, when it's inactive. And what this does is it just saves resources. Now, if we click on OK, that will play. That's set to full screen. Now, if we go to our starting screen, all we're going to do is we're not going to bring it in again. What we're going to bring in is the scene. And we're going to bring in the overlay starting scene. And we can't do anything with this now. The only place we can change, so if we wanted to change our overlays up, we go into the overlay section and we change them here, and it'll change them where they need to be. So we've got a BRB, so we'll do it the opposite way around this time. So we'll go scene. This will be overlay BRB. We'll lock that in, and then we've got chatting. We're going to have multiple options on chatting. So we'll go to scene and we will go to live chatting. And then ending, we will go to scene and live overlay ending. And we'll lock that one in as well. Now, the way you see these now, some of these are starting to stack up. We're getting multiple items in. These actually stack and show in the order from top to bottom. So if I was to put let me just install this one. Let me put this chatting one in for you. Easier to demonstrate. So again, we're putting in a media source. This one's chatting. And it's a local file. It's going to loop. We're going to use hardware encoding. So if we find it now, chatting. So that is the same as this intermission here. Sometimes they call it intermission. Now, it all depends how you want your chatting screen to look like. So we've got screen plus chat. So this brings your chat in on the screen as well, makes your chat visible. You do have to bring it in with external programs as well. 4x3 webcam built into that. We're not using 4x3. That's a 9x16, and then you got 16x9. So this is your portrait. This is your landscape. This is your screen, webcam, chat, and screen again. And I'm just going to use this one for now. And all this is your chatting screen. So we'll bring that in. So all you've got here, this is your overlay for your chatting screen. But if we now go into chatting, if I was to put that to the bottom, you would see my webcam. If I go to move it, obscures the overlay. We want this video to be behind it. That black area there on that overlay is transparent so that we can do that. So it's not, as simple as just putting that there and lining up to the squares. What we want to the corners, sorry. What we want to do is bring the overlay to the top because it stacks, and then we have the webcam behind. And anything that's just pure audio, I always put to the bottom because it's not visible. It's nothing visible. So we take it to the bottom. So we've got the overlay on the top. We've got the webcam underneath. If I resize this webcam now, you notice it chops at the edges of the overlay, what's in front of it. So now we can slightly oversize the webcam. Let me just lock the overlay so that we don't move the overlay by mistake. So you can slightly oversize it. You see what I mean? You can still see the overlay with the webcam behind it. So there's none of that, when it's above it. You're lining it up to the corners and stuff. You don't have to do that. That's not the way that OBS is meant to be built within scenes and sources. It stacks. So as long as you remember everything that you want at the forefront up to the top, and then it layers all the way down to the bottom. So let's start the ending screen. And we will go to, I did image, hang on. It's not image that we want. Nice. Thanks, Spander. Media source again. So this is for the ending. When you had get a naming convention going on within OBS for your scenes and sources as well, you can only use the set name once. That's why I go overlay -- ending. I could easily use overlay -- ending, but I could not use overlay -- ending. It doesn't matter whether it's in scene, source, one to the other. You can only use a name once. So if we go to the ending screen, so we're on the scenes and we'll go to ending. We're going to loop it, restart playback when it becomes active. Click on OK. So we've got that one set up. On ending, it is already there. So we want to change it. All we need to go, if we're changing our overlays, just go to these overlays and they're already lined up in the relevant live streaming areas. We don't need to do anything else with them. And if you've noticed, I said that I'm on a 1440 monitor. When I play games, I play them in 1440, or I stream them in 1080. Now, if you remember, when I went into my settings, if we look on video, I set my settings to 1080. Now, if I was to now set this to 1440 and I was downscaling to 1080, I'm going to use resources and I click apply. This screen now becomes 1440 and I have to resize everything. That is why it's important you get your settings done early. So I could resize this now because I've got a bigger monitor, 1440. I would have to go through each one of these now and change the size. Because if you notice, they've all changed. Every single one of them have changed, giving me that black area because I've extended the size of my base monitor. So what I'll do is I'm just going to go back here, back into video, and I'm going to change this back to 1080. This output scale, you can change that. If I change that down to 720 and then applied it, because my base canvas is 1080, doesn't matter. You could be on a 4K or an 8K monitor. If you are broadcasting out at 1080, do 1080. You don't need no downscale filters then. It doesn't matter where you put this. It's not going to affect the size of this screen. Well, I'll put that back to 1080, click apply. This one, however, will. And if I did it the other way and did it at 720, then we would get oversize. This top one, most people will say put it at the size of your monitor. I say put it at the size you stream, and you don't need a downscale filter. Because your quality that you see the game at is going to be 1440. If that's what you've set your game up as, you're still going to see it at 1440. Your viewers are not going to see any loss of quality because all you've done is you've just squashed it down a little bit. What you don't want to do is go from, say, 8K down to 720 streaming, because you are going to notice it. Then you will, I would say that you'd need to downscale it properly through a filter. But for it, because we're sticking at 16:9 aspect ratio constantly, it's not necessary. In my opinion, it is not necessary. I know people may argue and say that I'm wrong with that, but I found this works easier. So let's have a look at some other areas. So yeah, we've gone through everything with scenes and sources, and nest everything. If you've got here now, so I'll go add again. I'll add a line of dashes, and then I need to move that down here. I want certain games that I play. So all I'll do is I'll just call this game. I'm a content creator with a game called Warframe. So I would go Warframe. I would call this Warframe. But what I would need to do then is I would need to start the game before I could actually bring the game in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly that. Just let me move that off the screen. I'll minimize that. Let me bring my other screen up. So I'll start Warframe. I'm not going to start right into the game. And I'm actually a content creator with Warframe, with DE. Do plenty of giveaways, so do drop by on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Fated Chronicles, the same as it is here on YouTube. So I'm just waiting a little sec because it doesn't pick up at these stages here. Now it will pick up now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over here. So if we're in game Warframe, so live gaming, all I want to bring in is the scene for the game. Now I can add as many games as I want in this list. All I need to do is add the game here. So let's lock that up. And what I want to make sure is the webcam is above the game. If it's not, the game will be over the top. And I'll leave it like that just to show you. So now I'm bringing the game in. Now we go to game capture. Again, I can call this Warframe. Capture any full screen application. We want to change this to capture a specific window. So now it acts as a window capture, but it's only for games. We've got Warframe in the list, so we bring Warframe in. Match title, otherwise find window of same executable. So that makes sure it's the same. We're not using SLI. We're not using any transparency. We're not using anything through Steam or anything like that for any overlays. Use anti-cheat compatibility. That's on. And cursor capture we want on as well because we're playing the game. We want cursor capturing. Everything else is standard. But when I was talking about hidden areas earlier on, that is what this area is here. Remember when we was in settings and we were talking about, where are we? Hide overflow. If I hid overflow and clicked apply, that area disappears. So we can't see where this game has gone beyond the scope of the screen we are streaming out. So if we leave hide overflow, that is what this area is here. So what we do now is everything outside of, let me just make that smaller. Everything that you can see here, this part of the game is chopped off from the live stream. What we need is this red border to be within the size of the screen. Now we bring it down. And a lot of that is down to the fact that I play the game in 1440. So the game is 1440. And you saw what happened when I did it before. When we changed the base canvas. This game's base canvas is 1440. All we're doing, resizing it to 1080. So now it fits. And I am still playing the game in 1440. You are still seeing the game in 1440. I have just resized it. 720 would be somewhere up there. 900 would be somewhere around there. We're leaving it at 1080. So this here is the game, and all that is the visuals for the game. What we need to do now is we need to bring the audio in for the game. So add, and we're going to use this application audio capture. This is the plugin that we brought in right at the beginning. So again, if I try and just type Warframe, because we've used it in the game capture, it will not let me use it as an audio capture. So all I do is I just tag audio at the end of it, and then it will allow it. Brings us up to this screen here. This, I'm trying to remember who did this plugin now. I forgot who did the plugin. I mentioned it earlier on in the video. So capture audio session from a selection of executables. That's where we want it to be. We don't want it to capture from hotkeys. We want it to capture audio session selection of executables. Now the executables, we've got Chrome, that's my browser source, Discord, which I've got open on another screen, OBS, which I've got running at the minute to record this live video, and then Warframe. We click on Warframe and then add it to the executable. You'll see the game audio coming through, and then we click on OK. So we now have the video and we have the audio. I always put the audio to the bottom because it's a non-visual effect. So I make sure that all audio is at the bottom. And if I go to the gaming screen, if you remember, I put it in. The full game screen is actually there. And the webcam, because that is set lower in the stack, it is hidden. What we need to do is bring Warframe down a level and the webcam up. And then we've got the webcam here. Now, a lot of people are happy playing like this with a webcam. I'm not. I'm one of them people that likes to admit, I've got a green screen. I've got an Elgato green screen sat behind me. You know, 180 quid green screen sat behind me. Why would I want to show green? We're going to show you now how to eliminate that green. So we're going to show you how to get rid of and use a chroma key. So if we go to webcam, let me just move that bottle out of the way. I've got a can of 7 up here. I'm just going to have a swig of. How to get rid of this green background. And this isn't the screen, the camera or webcam that I'd use for gaming with, because it would be set further back and you wouldn't be able to see this desk either. You won't be able to see this desk area. But what we want to do is you can do this a number of ways. You can right click on the webcam and go filters. This is the best way to do this. And then you've got your audio filters. So if you're using your webcam to capture your audio, you would go on here and you would go, you'd see your obvious ones there. Your 3-band equalizer, your compressor, your expander, your gain, your polarity, your limiter, your noise gate. We're going to go through a lot of these when we go through the mic settings. But what we want here is visual aspects. So there's 2 things you're going to need when you're going to chroma key. You want color correction, and we can leave the naming convention, and you want chroma key. Now you can take it one step further. You notice that made a difference straight away. Let me just turn them off. You can go one step further and apply LUTs as well. Now LUTs change the overall color of the whole screen from where you put them. So if I go back to my browser source and I come back to OBS, again, we've got a link here as well. So if you just put in your browser source, OBS Studio, free LUTs, you will get this pack. I'm going to click on download. I'm going to download this pack and I'll show you how much LUTs make a difference to your videos or to your webcam. Those that are into photography and video editing already will know what LUTs are and know how they affect the outcome. Let me just close some of these down now. Let's get rid of that. So we've now got some LUTs in our download folder. So we'll go to downloads and we've got a LUTs pack. So what we'll do is we will open that LUTs pack. There's the LUTs and we're straight in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that and I'm going to take it to my OBS and I'm just going to drop it in here, making sure that everything is nice and tidy within OBS. Let me minimize there and we'll just bring a couple of LUTs in. So I'm going to bring, I'm just going to call it LUT 1, 2, and 3 for now. And just show you a couple because there's a lot of LUTs in this pack and it's your discretion for how you want your LUTs to look and how you want your video to have the appearance of. So we'll do LUT 1, LUT 2, and we'll do a LUT 3. Oh, there's 1, 2, and 3. So what I'm going to do, look, 1, path. All we're doing is following the path. And we are going to, that's my old set of LUTs, which we don't want. OBS, and the LUT pack that we got. And we'll go into webcam presets. So we'll just put these 3 webcam presets in. So there's 1. We can leave all the settings as they are. Browse. Again, OBS Studio. I think that was in the right one anyway. Webcam presets. LUT 2. And the third one. LUT pack. OBS does come with some as standard, but they're not very good. And then we've got LUT 3. So if you want to see how each one affects the screen, so if you watch the big screen, I'll turn each one of these on. So that's a LUT just lightening up the area. You know, it's putting an extra glow on my face. LUT 2. These are not very impressive ones. I've chosen. That one takes the tone down a little bit. So this one emphasizes the blacks and makes everything that little bit darker. So this one I actually like. So I'm going to leave this one on for now. But what I want to do is I want to move this above the chroma key. So any color correction that you do, any LUT you put on, you want above the chroma key. Because once you turn on the chroma key, and you start changing the color, you saw the difference it made then. I turn that off, and then I turn this on above it. It's a significant impact. If that's below it, it doesn't impact it as much because you need to. Your chroma key should be the last thing that it does to get rid of all this green. So chroma key, and then what we're looking for, you've got 2 options. I like to leave it on green as is. But you can, if you want, go custom color. But let me turn chroma key off, turn these, leave that one on. So you go select color. This is under chroma key. Pick a color, and then you can pick that specific color. And then we can work with that when you turn it back on. And it's a matter of getting the balance. So smoothness just smooths the edges. And we're looking at getting rid of the background without removing me. Now, I don't like what it's doing there. That probably picked a wrong color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that back to green. And we can start raising the similarity. It's on. Why is it not doing anything? There we go. Wasn't high enough. So we want to start removing the background without removing me. Now you see some really choppy green screen cutouts. If you're going to cut out the green screen, make sure you do a good job of it. Because this, I cringe when I see this scattering effect. I really do. I cringe. So you see there where my head's become transparent. You see the black area. So we need to dial that back a bit. We can tidy it up a little bit with a smoothness. And you see just on their head there, you can see just starting to become transparent. So we dial that back so that I'm not getting any transparent spots. This is coming from my Elgato key light that I've got above me, shining down on my head. If you're like me, you got a shiny head. We need to just work with that. And we work with that. See, you got extra brightness there because I took the LUT off. That took that highlight off. We're going into color. Now we just want to play around a little bit with the coloring. We don't want to go too bright. This can actually take a while to get right. It's a lot of playing around with the coloring, the right set of LUTs, and moving around between chroma key and color correction to get it right. So you see there, we've got the scattering effect there on my head. You can see it on my arm as I bring my arm up. So we need to dial that back a little bit. And then we can tidy it up with smoothness. And then we go back to color correction. Getting the right set of LUTs actually matters. Let's have a look at some different LUTs. Let's apply another LUT here. I'm just going to leave that, and we'll bring in some film grade, film presets. So let's see what we've got here. We have got, what's this one doing? That's merging into the background. So that's not having a really good effect for what we're looking for. Invert. Is that what we want? No. Don't think that's what we want. We can go black and white. Spandy's a noob. You see, these LUTs give you very subtle differences. If I shown you my OBS and the amount of LUTs that I've got going on, I've probably got 20 or 30 different LUTs going on. Let's pick a couple more just to see if we can get the right look for what we're after. We've got contrast filters. Let's have a look at some of these contrast filters. That's probably more like what we're looking for. That one's not too bad. And you can have multiple LUTs on as well. You're not just stuck to one. You can actually turn a few on. And when we get down to the stream deck, we'll have it so that you can have a stack of these LUTs on, and you can interchange the LUTs depending on your lighting situation. So that one's not too bad. I'm going to leave that one there, but go back to the chroma key. And again, we need to just dial it in and out a little bit. So we're taking it back from the desk, but you're still seeing these spotty areas here. I'm not too bothered about the desk because the desk I would never use anyway. And if you wanted to, just getting that smooth. So you just see the glow starting to come up again. It's on the back. If you were playing a game and you were on full screen and you had the game as your background, you'll be able to see through yourself. So it's just, you've just got to balance it out. And it does take time. And you have got to have patience when you're doing this, because it will take a while. It's not something that you can do in 5 minutes. So I suggest you just play around and just get it to where you want it. And where you are happy with the results as well. Sometimes you don't need the color correction, but I don't like these areas. I don't like the fact that I've got a shiny head. I don't like a shiny. Maybe you've got a shiny head and you know, you may be bald like certain streamers that I know, but they wear caps when they're streaming. That's to stop that glow that's there from the lights. That's what that's for. When they're using green screens, they're wearing a cap. They're wearing it for fashion, but they're wearing it to get rid of all this shiny head syndrome, bowling ball syndrome. So chroma key does take time to get put in properly. Get your Mr. Sheen out. Yeah, that's the one, Mr. Sheen. So chroma key will take time. Be patient and just fine tweak it. So you notice it. You'll notice the numbers there when you're sliding them. You're moving it a little bit, but them numbers are going fast. Fine tune it. Use the arrows. Give it that fine tune. See, like I'll show you with my key light. I can have drastic differences with my key light just by changing my key light on my deck. You know, I can have it super bright. If I've got that super bright, you're seeing through me. Dial it back a bit. Dial it back a bit. And that cuts it out as well. So it's all down to your lighting as well. Oh, you'll be able to see the game through my t-shirt. And that doesn't say what you think it does there, Tibby. I know what you're thinking. You've said it before. Let me just set my lights back up. So that is chroma keying. If anyone needs any more help with chroma keying, more than happy to help you out. Okay, we'll move on to microphones now. So microphones, you do need to alter your microphone to make you sound better. We all hate our voices. Every one of us hates our own voice, and everyone else will say there's nothing wrong with it. We can alter that voice here. So we're going to filters again. This time we're going into audio filters. So there's an order to doing this. What you want to do first is you want to make sure that you can see the bar in your microphone. If you talk quietly, which I do not, I am a loudspeaker. You want to put gain in there, which will boost your volume up. And you only need to take it up about 10 decibels. 10 decibels is enough. 10 decibels is enough. I don't need that because if you know, I've got 10 decibels in and I'm going into the red now. And if I got a jump scare, if someone did the flashbang on there, it's peeking out. That sound is horrible. You saw it peek out, but in actual fact, what you heard on the stream, it's not that loud because I've got this OBS tuned in to my microphone using these filters. But you saw it peek out here. So I don't need the gain. Another thing you want on there is a noise suppressor. So with noise suppression, this is what cuts out background noises. Just give me a second while I'm streaming. My game's still going in the background and it's utilizing resources. I can see it slowing things down because I've got 2 OBSs running. So the game's gone now. Noise suppression. This will help cut out background noises. If you can hear things in the background, dogs barking, people outside arguing, it happens. It happens to all of us. This will do its best to cut that out. So that's what noise suppression's for. We've got, what other ones are we going to use? An expander. When we're setting up an expander, set this up. My best settings for this is 3 to the power of 1. My threshold is around about -25. Going the wrong way. No, I'm not. About -25. The attack. You want the attack at 1 millisecond. So it reacts within 1 millisecond of your voice changing. And the release, you want this around about 100. Everything else can stay as it is. Now, if you're playing a game, you're playing music, and you're doing something when you're streaming, and you want your voice to be heard more than the game that you're playing as well, you can stick on ducking as well. Oh, it's not actually on this one. I think that's on gate. Can't even remember where ducking is now. But this is what expands your voice. Compressor. So if you talk quietly, you want to expand your voice. When you talk loud, you need to bring your voice down. So when you're playing and you're streaming, at some point you may start talking quietly. Now that's what this is doing now. You can hear me perfectly, but you can barely see the bar going up on the OBS that I've got on the screen because I haven't set anything up properly to expand that volume. But what a compressor does, that has the opposite effect. So when you're talking loud, a compressor will bring it back down. But what you want on here again is 3 to the power of 1 again. The threshold on here, I'm trying to think, where do I have my threshold on my other one? I actually think I've got my threshold the wrong way round. The expander, no, I got it right. The -25 on the compressor. I also have that at -25. But that helps bring your top levels down. But so that you don't peak out, so you can see now there's not going. I can get close. You can see it just going into the red. Sorry if I got a bit loud on you, but these are the things you have to test when you're doing your microphone. so that you can bring this and dial that top volume down. And just in case someone has a scream makes you scream, like some people do, stick a limiter on there as well. A limiter, stick that as your last resort. Now what I do is, your limiter, you want around about this area here, just about where it gets green going into yellow, so that you're not going super loud. Although, no, you can have it about 15. You don't want to be hitting red and hitting them peaks. So if I go about -15, you stick that to -15, and you will not go above that. Now, if I bring that all the way down, you can see I am forcing it to go no louder. Even though I'm talking louder, it is not going any higher because it's limiting the volume of where you hear the voice coming through. So I would have that at around about -15. And even if I screamed into the mic, it would never go above that. It would cap out at -15. Thanks for them emotes. So the order that you're going to have them in, you want to gain, so you want a slight boost. You want to cut out any background noise. The reason why you want to cut background noise out first, because when you use an expander, you are actually expanding everything that goes through your mic, including the background noise. So you need to take out and eliminate the background noise before you do anything else. All you want to expand and compress is your voice. Another thing that noise suppression will do is take out your key clicks. That is another pet hate of mine. When people are playing game, keyboard and mouse, and you can constantly hear the click, 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 click. There's the clicking on the keyboard and playing the game. Noise suppression will do its best to get rid of that sound so that your viewers cannot hear it. All you want your viewers to hear is the game, music if you play music, and you, and anything else you want your viewers to hear, and cut out everything that you don't want them to hear. Cut out your keyboard noises, cut out your background, cut out your neighbors arguing in the back. Get rid of all that. Concentrate on your voice, and that's where this comes in. So you have an expander for your high volume to bring down. Sorry, yeah, expand for your low volume to take up. Your compressor for your high volume to bring down, and then a limiter to make sure that you are capped off. And the easiest way to do them is to whisper into your mic and boost it up to a level of around about 25 to 20, -25 to 20. So whisper and boost it up till you get to that. And then for the compressor, shout as if you're shouting to your mic and bring it down to the same area, and then keep your limiter just above it. Then it doesn't matter whether you're whispering, you are shouting, your viewers hear the same volume consistently. So that is scenes and sources. We'll finish up today. We'll do transitions. We'll just get the transition in there as well. So for a transition is when you change. So you just saw there, it just fades in and fades out, because that's what the transition is set to. It's set to fade in and fade out between. What we want is our own transition that come in our transition pack. So what we need to do is, we've only got cut, we've only got fade. So a cut literally will snap between the two. That just snaps between the two. Fade fades in and out. And you can overwrite them as well. You right click over here, transition override, so you can override them. The 300 milliseconds is the timing it takes to fade in and fade out. What we want to do is we want to add a stinger. We can leave the name as it is, or you can call it whatever your pack is called, whatever your overlay pack is called, give it the same name. Then you know where that stinger's come from, because you can stack these stingers up and interchange with them all over this forced changeover. So what we want to do here, we go on browse, we go back to the pack that we got. Where did I put the pack? Scenes, intermission. I didn't bring over the transitions. So now I need to find it again. Give me a second. I have now got to find that pack. look pack, animated. Here we go. So we've got transitions. So this is the transition that comes with this pack. So I am going to dial it back 1, grab that transition, copy it, and paste it into our pack here so that it's within our OBS pack. Minimize, and then we'll browse it and bring it in. So transition. So we brought the transition in. Now you can have this set to timed transition or frame transition. If you know how long the video is for the transition, you can bring it in over time. Frame. If you are using 50 frames a second, it's easy to do. I always work it out in frames. Use hardware decoding when available, and we'll time all this through in just a second. Monitor on, monitor off. So this is where your monitoring comes in. Remember when we did that in settings as well, when you did your audio monitoring? And I said, put it to your headphones. This is where we're going to monitor. You got monitor off so that you can't hear it. Monitor only means you can hear it, but your viewers can't. Monitor and output means you can hear it and your viewers can hear it. So off for you, on for your viewers. That is on for you, off for your viewers. Sorry, I got that one wrong. Monitor off means it's off for you, on for your viewer. This one is on for you, off for your viewers. That's the opposite way around. And this is on for both. We want this on monitor and output. And we can preview the transition. So as you saw then, you've got a green and a blue at A and B. You do not want to see the changeover from A to B. So you saw there that we could see the changeover every time. So what we want to do then is we want to slow it down. So we're on frame. So I'm going to take this up to 30. If it's a 60 FPS transition, 30 is the middle point. So you've got to know either how long it is or what FPS it is recorded at. So we'll try this again. So we'll preview it. So you saw then, as we transitioned, you saw that we still saw the old one just before it changed. So what we can do is we can dial it back a tad. So we'll take it down to 20. Preview transition, blue, green, green. Stayed green when it shrunk. It's blue when it opens. That is what you're looking for in your scene transition, so that your viewer doesn't see one scene over the top of another, and it captures just at that sweet spot. That's it. That's your transition setup. And what your transition is, when you change from your gaming screen to your Be Right Back screen, to your chatting screen, to your starting screen. It's easier doing it this way, and your ending screen. So your transition comes up, covering the whole screen, whilst your starting screen goes off, or whatever screen you're coming out of, and then your other one comes in just before it closes again. And that's a perfect transition. That's a perfect transition. So we're going to end it here. And when I come back again next week on the next video, we're going to expand a little bit more into alerts. We're going to fine tweak everything a little bit more. And we're going to bring a lot more in. We're going to have a look at portrait settings, how you can multi-stream without using restream, which I use, how to bring and incorporate your chat into OBS, all your alerts, everything that's going on. And we'll look at as well bringing in stream elements into your OBS as well, and what you need to do with stream elements and OBS to connect them together and get them to work in unison. So hopefully I'll catch you next week. Thank you for being here today. I know it was a bit easy for a lot of people doing this, but believe me, when we do nested scenes like I've done here and shown you here, this is the best way moving forward for maintaining your OBS. This is the only way I show people now, and I've shown many people now how to build OBS is. And this is the only way I show them. I can help them maintain it, show them how to maintain it and talk them through it. Because I can visualize their setup, what they're trying to explain to me. And it is so simple to do. It's harder to set up. Don't get me wrong, it is harder to set up, but it's easier to maintain once it's done right. And I aim to get you to build your OBS right. So thanks for being here. Catch you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video. And subscribe again if you want to catch me on the next video. It all helps me to make more videos for you guys. And if you've got any hints and tips that you want to tell me, you know, that I can incorporate into future videos, do let me know. If you want me to go over anything to do with streaming, whether it's whatever platform it's for, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, whether it's OBS, StreamerBot, Elgato gear, I will help you set it up. You let me know and I'll help you set it up. Thank you again. Catch you next time. See you later. Bye. And we can use the ending screen to leave as well.